Hey, sorry the video was late today. I have been very busy with kitty sitting. It turns out that my right Joy-Con is getting drift, like right before all this stuff's coming out next week. So I'll have to go buy one today. Thanks to the kitty sitting, I'm actually going to be able to afford it. So I will be putting up the VODs for the rest of my playthrough for this, probably throughout the week, since I have so much stuff going on next week. I kind of just need a little bit of time to take a break. My hand still is a little bit cramped too, so that's part of it as well. So I apologize in advance. I definitely do get frustrated playing this game a lot, but it is fun when it cooperates. Just towards the end of the game, it cooperates less and less. But I thought I'd go ahead and show my build. Turn the sound down a little bit. Alright, so I got Gladiator with the protagonist. It was actually quite easy. I'm not sure if the PC version spawns more enemies than the console version when you put it on the characters on maximum. Generally, in like Muso games, and usually if you put the characters on maximum, it tends to spawn like a little bit more than the console versions, but I'm not sure if that applies here. So I've got the Titan belt on him. This allows him to do more damage on weaknesses. I've got the Raging Ruby, which increases crit damage, which is really important. And then the Strength Ring gives a 30% attack increase when you're buffed, which is why Angelo's in the party, and he provides, the attack oomph spell, so you could use that. And definitely have noticed it doing a lot more damage. So basically, you want to stun something, and then do this move. And I think the max damage I've done with it is like 5,000 or 6,000. So, pretty crazy. I went to the wrong spot. Hold on. You can tell the budget for this game just went down the dumpster towards the end. Feels like it was made with like $5 and a can of cat food at this point of the game. They ask you to go to the Dark World, and the Dark World is just like the same thing as the other one, but palette swapped. Even the enemies are palette swapped. The textures are slightly palette swapped too. I find this part of the game to be a little bit harsh because you have to go through the whole thing again, and there's no save point at all. There's also no zoom stones in there, so you have to go back through it every time. Towards the end of this game, it feels like it's less and less like friendly for somebody who actually has to stop playing. Which is kind of funny because this game is on Vita and PS4. Vita and Switch, I mean. I can't imagine like being stuck in... Apparently the final battle is like 90 minutes long. I can't imagine being stuck up there and having your battery die. I know the Golden Claws, I think you need the Thieves' Key for those. I need to figure out how to do that at some point. But I think you have to wait until post-game. And this is pretty much the end of the game. You're kind of just doing some obligatory padding here. I'm glad I got past the point where I was doing like no damage, because that was getting really tiresome, but now I actually seem to take things down pretty quickly. I'm not a fan of these trees. Mostly because they keep spamming status effects. Alright, let's see how much damage this does. Oh, that didn't do much. come on. This part of the game is so harsh. It's like, you can't run away from the enemies because this game makes you start running like an obese smoker when you get anywhere near an enemy. Especially named ones like this. It's like in actual turn-based games, you can always run away from the enemies. Like, no issue at all. Here, since this game is real-time, but they have like a similar encounter system, you're stuck running really slow. Definitely one of the most obnoxious things about this game. I don't understand why it's designed like that. But apparently it gets better in the endgame, post-game. They also don't tell you where to go either, so you get constantly stuck in loops of not knowing where you're supposed to be going. Definitely could have done without this part. Like, just let me go into the final dungeon. The game's been long enough as it is. I really don't need to be padding it out even more. But padding is a very big reality of modern games. Just stuff that doesn't need to be in the game that's boring or frustrating like this, and you're still forced to do it anyway. I have no clue where I'm supposed to go, and it doesn't give you any kind of guidance at all. And it's pretty frustrating to backtrack because you can't just run past the enemies. Alright, ah, here we go. Something's actually happening. Nice. The one place I didn't check. Alright, something should be happening soon. Hopefully. Oh damn, that killed both of them. I didn't see exactly how much damage that did, but basically one-shot them. Here the final boss is really difficult, and I won't be able to get help with multiplayer, so apparently the server's down. So I might need to do some grinding here. Damage. So I stopped using the tough guy tattoo because blind man's biff is such a strong move. I can't really afford to use it anymore. No, according to a friend of mine, apparently, Dragon Quest games. I've never played any other Dragon Quest games, obviously because they're turn-based, they don't interest me, but palette swapping and stuff is common in them, according to him. So I guess that makes it make a little bit more sense, but definitely feels like pretty blatant padding. Apparently the Switch version of this runs at like 20 FPS all the time. A classic Omega Force port that barely functions. I imagine that's probably why it was never localized, it never left Japan. I can't imagine playing this class at 20 FPS because their whole core mechanic is the counter system, which can stun most enemies in the game. Pretty much everyone but the largest ones will get stunned. So having that extra 40 frames per second gone really hurt. These guys together. Weirdest thing about this game to me is it's actually quite portable friendly. Like, it actually could pass for a portable game towards the beginning, but as you get farther in the game, I'd say maybe past the halfway point, the levels, like the war zones, which are basically like instance zones or levels, they get longer and longer. And like I said, I read some spoilers, and apparently the last level's like an hour and a half long. Like, that kind of stuff just adds a lot of stress, because you have to go through the whole thing again if you wipe. And it's one thing to do that in, like, shorter games. You know, like, 8 or 16-bit games that can be cleared in, like, you know, an hour or two. That's not that bad. It's no different than, like, a speedrunner resetting a game that's, like, an hour or too long. But when it's an hour and a half, and most of it is an escort mission, that's just not fun. Barely getting any experience from these guys. I must be at the point where I'm probably right on par with the level I'm supposed to be at. Take this guy out first. Easy. So once I get that ability ring and I max it out, Lineman's Biff is going to start doing some bonkers damage. There actually is a cheat engine mod to just flat increase the game speed, but there's nothing that just increases your running speed. I think that would make this a lot less frustrating. But at the same time, the class I'm playing already requires a ton of mashing and timing, so it would be very counterproductive for me to raise the speed at all. Even if it was just like 10 or 20%, like, you know, DMC games, turbo mode. Basically would have to relearn all the timings and cramp my hand even more, neither of which I want to do. So I just kind of grin and bear the slowness of Traversal.
Hold on to your hats. Giga Boom!
Alright, they're like a mile away at this point. Can I please run? They chase you to like the end of the earth too, so you get a lot of times where they're still running after you even though you're halfway down the road. Might be a chest over here. I need to get a couple more mini medals so I can get the ability ring. I think that will definitely help with the final boss, because I hear the final boss is a massive HP sponge. Damn, 6.8k damage. Nice. Looks like there's no chests over here, so I guess I'll continue. seems like if you hit them from the back and on their weak point, then it does like ridiculous damage. But if you just hit them in the front, it still does good damage, but not as much. Kind of have to watch what I fight here because I only have 3 revives, and if I wipe, then I'll have to do the whole thing again. Luckily, the map will be uncovered, so the element of getting lost will be gone, but as you know, as I already mentioned, the traversal in this game is kind of frustrating with how often it makes you stop running. So ideally, I like to just get straight to the end. Case in point right here, I'm getting aggroed by nothing.
Hold on to your hats. Giga dash.
He had a ton of health. He got hit with like a 5k crit and still kicking. I really hope there's gonna be a checkpoint at the end of this, because, man, it takes forever to get through here. But, like I said, I'm pretty much completely blind on this game. I wasn't really able to find a lot of information on it in general. It's just not that many people made guides for it. This boss is really obnoxious to parry. I don't know the timings. Right now I just need to build up meter. Stun him and then blind man's bit. There we go.
Here we go!
I hope he's not invincible. He might be invincible. Damn. That was pretty clean. Okay, so is it gonna let me leave or what? I kinda wanna save the game. I really don't like how this is designed. I'm like terrified to leave because I don't want to go through all this again, but at the same time I don't want to go into a 90-minute fight. Well, I guess I'll stop the video here. Thanks for watching.